You ever notice how people can't stop watching you? Not because they admire you, not because they want to learn from you, but because you unsettle them. They stare, they whisper, they take notes like you're some experiment under a microscope, and you can feel it, the tension, the suspicion. They're not curious, they're afraid. Why? Because deep down, they know you're not like them. Most people, they're predictable. They wake up, drag themselves through a job they don't care about, obey whatever rules get thrown at them, go home, scroll their lives away, then collapse into bed. And the next day, they do it again and again and again. That's their life, a script, one they never even wrote for themselves. But you tore that script apart. You didn't just step off the track. They don't even know what track you're on, and that terrifies them. See, when someone doesn't play by the same rules, when someone doesn't follow the same routine, it rattles the system because you can't be predicted, you can't be controlled. And the truth is, people don't fear what they understand, they fear what they can't. So they watch you, they poke, they prod, they try to figure out what makes you move, why you don't fall in line like everyone else, why you're not stuck in the same endless loop of eat, work, obey, sleep. And when they get even the smallest glimpse of how your mind works, when they see those gears turning in a way theirs never could, they panic because now they realize something they can't admit. You don't need their game. You don't chase approval. You don't beg for permission. You don't even acknowledge the line they've been so careful never to cross. And that's when the fear sets in. That's when the whispers start. That's when they label you. They'll call you names: crazy, reckless, arrogant, dangerous. Not because you are, but because it's easier for them to throw labels at you than admit the truth. See, people don't like unsolved puzzles. They can't stand someone who refuses to fit neatly inside their tiny little boxes. So they dissect you, they theorize about you, they talk behind your back like you're some problem to be solved. They'll say you're unstable, that you're too much, that you're bound to fall apart. But deep down, what really rattles them isn't your weakness, it's your strength, because you're proof that someone can live without their chains. You're proof that the system they cling to like a lifeline isn't the only way to exist. And that's the real danger, isn't it? If you can walk free, if you can live on your own terms, then what's stopping the next person from doing the same? So they try to clip your wings, not with force, not with chains, but with words, with whispers, with ridicule, with doubt. But here's the irony. Every insult, every label, every attempt to cut you down, it only shows how much power you really hold, because if you were nothing, they wouldn't bother. You know what really eats them alive? It's not just that you're different. It's that you remind them of everything they could have been, but chose not to be. When they watch you, they don't just see you, they see the version of themselves that never got out, the dreams they buried, the chances they never took, the courage they never found. And envy, oh, envy is a silent poison. It doesn't come out with honesty. It comes out with fake laughs, backhanded compliments, and snide remarks. It comes out as hate disguised as humor, because admitting the truth that you had the guts they never did would crush them. So instead, they turn you into the villain. Easier to mock what they don't understand than to face the reflection staring back at them. And that's why their anger burns so hot. Not because you wronged them, but because your existence alone exposes their cowardice. You're living proof that they settled, and nothing stings worse than realizing the life they laughed at was the life they secretly wanted. Funny thing is, people love to talk about thinking outside the box. They post quotes about being unique. They wear shirts that scream, "Be yourself." But the moment you actually do it, the alarms go off. See, the system isn't built for freedom. It's built for control. And nothing exposes that faster than someone who refuses to play along. So what happens? The stares, the whispers, the fake smiles with sharp edges, the quiet suggestions to tone it down or be more normal. They don't come at you with chains. They don't drag you back into the herd by force. They do it smarter than that. They use rules. They use expectations. They use shame. Don't stand out too much. Don't ask too many questions. Don't be too happy, too bold, too alive, because nothing irritates a prisoner more than seeing someone else walk free. And that's the truth. They don't hate you because you're wrong. They hate you because you're proof that their way isn't the only way. You're proof that you don't have to be another cog in their rusted machine. And that thought, that terrifying thought, is what makes them sweat. Because if you can break free, what's stopping everyone else? Here's the part they'll never accept. You don't owe them a damn thing. Not an explanation, not an apology, not a watered down version of yourself so they can sleep better at night. They'll try to convince you otherwise. They'll act like you're selfish, like you're the problem, like you should bend and twist yourself just to fit their fragile expectations. But that's their fear talking, not your responsibility. Let them squirm. Let them shake their heads. Let them sit in their neat little rows, living lives so small they could fit inside a shoebox, because you weren't built for that. You weren't made to shrink. You were made to burn brighter, to stand taller, to live louder. And every time they see you do it, every time they watch you walk into a room without apology, they're reminded of what they gave up. That's why their resentment cuts so deep. It's not about you. It's about what they lost. So don't hand it back to them. Don't trade your fire for their comfort. They didn't light it. They don't get to put it out. Look around for a second. Most people aren't living. They're just existing. Wake up, scroll, work, scroll again, sleep, repeat. No spark, no fight, no real purpose. That's not life. That's rotting in real time. And you know why the system loves it? Because tired, distracted people don't ask questions. They don't push back. They don't even realize they're trapped. But the moment you see the bars, the moment you recognize the cage for what it is, that's when the real war begins, because now you're dangerous. A person who knows they're in a cage won't stay there for long, and that terrifies them. So they come for you, not with fists, not with metal chains, but with rules, with guilt, with expectations. Don't think like that. Don't question things. Don't be different. And above all, don't be too damn happy, because nothing pisses off a prisoner more than seeing someone walk free. That's the punchline, isn't it? They could have been free too. They just chose not to be. So now they sit in their comfortable little cells, hating you for having the guts to leave. Let me ask you something. What are you really afraid of? Not the excuses, not the polished answers. I mean the truth. Is it failure, rejection, the thought of people laughing, pointing, whispering behind your back? Here's the brutal reality. They're already laughing. They're already whispering. They're already waiting for you to fail, because that's what small people do. And if you let that stop you, if you let their weak, miserable voices dictate your choices, then congratulations, you've chosen the same safe, meaningless life they did. That's the cost of fear. It doesn't just hold you back for a day or a year, it robs you of everything. Fear convinces you to shrink, to play it safe, to stay inside the cage and call it security. But what it really is surrender. Because here's the truth no one wants to hear. Nobody's coming to save you. No one's going to knock on your door and hand you the life you dream about. If you want it, you got to take it, and if you don't just lose the dream, you lose yourself. You think the great ones had it easy, you think they got there without doubt, without hate, without people betting against them. Not a chance. They were ridiculed. They were underestimated. They were told again and again, you'll never make it. But here's the difference. They didn't stop. That's it. That's the secret. Not luck, not talent, not some hidden gift, just a decision. They kept moving. When it was hard, they kept moving. When they lost, they kept moving. When everyone walked away, they still kept moving. And that's the line that separates them from the rest. Not intelligence, not strength, persistence. See, the average person quits at the first sign of resistance. The great ones, they walk through hell 100 times if that's what it takes. And that's why they win. Not because life spared them, but because they refused to surrender. So here's the real question. Will you, not can you, not should you, will you? Will you take the risk? Will you step outside the cage? Will you stop waiting for permission that's never coming? Or are you going to sit there wasting your life, paralyzed by people who don't even matter? Because let's be real, time doesn't wait. It doesn't care about your excuses. It doesn't care about your fear. It doesn't care that you were almost ready. Time keeps moving. And every second you hesitate, every day you stall, is a day you don't get back. So what's it gonna be? Another year of scrolling, wishing, hoping, or a year where you finally wake up, finally break loose, finally decide that this life belongs to you? No more pretending, no more waiting, no more shrinking to make other people comfortable. Because at the end of the day, the choice isn't about them, it's about you. And the truth is simple. You either live bold or you die ordinary. Here's the part nobody wants to face. Time is ruthless. It doesn't pause for your doubts. It doesn't stop because you're scared. It doesn't care if you play it safe, keep your head down, and waste your days in comfort. It will erase you just like it erased millions before you who never had the courage to live. So don't wait, don't stall, don't hand your one shot at life over to fear and routine. Live until you die. Burn so bright they can't ignore you. Walk so bold they'll whisper about you for years. And when your time finally comes, don't leave quietly. Go out smiling, knowing you didn't play small, knowing you didn't fold under their labels or their fear. Let them say, "We never figured that one out." Because that's the point. You were never meant to be figured out. You were meant to be free. So stop waiting. Get up and live.